Hi, I'm Jonathan, and I'm a recovering politician. I was the state treasurer here in Kentucky for 2 terms, ran for governor. People of Kentucky overwhelmingly decided that I should be in the private sector, and have since found my way into the world of hemp. We are really proud here of our agriculture commissioner and your president, Ryan Quarles. You all know him real well from his work with NASDA, but we in the hemp industry are so grateful for his leadership, not just in Kentucky, but nationwide when it comes to hemp. We are proud that Kentucky has played a real central role in development. I'm the General Counsel of the US Hemp Roundtable, which is the industry's national advocacy organization. We've been around in one form or another since 2013, and we are engaged in advocacy efforts, lobbying efforts in Washington, D.C., as well as we've had lobbyists in probably 36 states over the last 5 years, all engaged in pursuing the legalization of hemp, ultimately accomplishing that with the 2018 Farm Bill, now focus on both legalizing, but more importantly, regulating hemp products. CBD is the big one, but there's a lot more coming down the pipe. We want to make sure that products that are sold to consumers have oversight, they're safe, they're not going to hurt people, and that they have what they say they have, which is one of the big challenges right now because of the current status. Our biggest effort right now in DC is pursuing legislation which would establish a legal and regulatory pathway for the sale of CBD and other hemp extracts as dietary supplements. We're proud that NASDA has joined us in that battle, but ultimately, as many of you might know, we had this huge gold rush or green rush after the Farm Bill passed, and about 2/3 of the hemp that was grown across the country was for CBD. It's not always going to be the case, but that's where the most popular product right now. Well, right about the same time, the FDA started to ramp up its public commentary, arguing that it was illegal to be sold as an ingestible product. And that hasn't stopped sales. They're all over the country, but it really cast a cloud on the marketplace. A lot of money dried up. A lot of big box stores that were going to sell the products opted out. Big food companies are going to put CBD in their food and drink decided to hold off. And so you saw a crash in prices, a lot of bankruptcies, and guess who's holding the bag? It's farmers who, I still hear stories today of farmers who have a warehouse or a barn filled of hemp biomass from 2019. They haven't been able to remove it. So what our bill, HR 841 would do, it would establish a legal pathway for the sale of CBD as a dietary supplement. But more important, and that would unleash all of the commerce and help farmers and help our businesses. But also, really importantly, it would establish a regulatory regime for these products, which are currently being sold all across the country. And so there'd be good manufacturing practices, there would be truth in labeling, there would be safety studies, so everything that we want to have in a consumer product would be available. Really excited, we've got 31 co-sponsors in the House, 19 Democrats, 12 Republicans. That's pretty rare these days. And we're expecting a hearing in Energy and Commerce Committee the next couple weeks, and are hopeful to see this have movement. But that's something that we really look forward to working with NASDA as it goes on. I do also want to mention, though, that we talk a lot about CBD. There is a whole big part of the plans that has, I think, even more enormous value to it in the long run. That's the fiber and the stalks and the stems. If you look at Europe, car paneling, hemp construction materials are all made from hemp fiber. We'd like to see the same thing here. What we're doing is we're really trying to work closely with the USDA and the Biden White House because, as you all know, one of the president's biggest initiatives is sustainability, climate change remediation. Hemp is like this, I don't want to say magical elixir, but growing it is good for the soil. You use a whole lot less water than other crops, and then the products are biodegradable and sustainable. And so it really is a win-win-win for farmers and the environment. We're going to be looking closely at trying to get the USDA support the billions of dollars that they have and maybe even more as some of these other bills pass, and dedicate this to sustainability when it comes to hemp. The last thing I wanted to mention is the US Hemp Roundtable has a sister organization called the US Hemp Authority. This is the organization that provides best practices, high standards, and self-regulation for the industry. We're not the ultimate regulator, the states are, but we believe any good commodity, any good crop is going to have self-regulation. We've been going through this for 3 years. About 100 companies have come through. They get independently audited by a third-party firm. And if they get that, they have a seal on their products that indicates that they've gone through all the good manufacturing practices, meet all FDA guidelines, meet USDA guidelines. And so that consumers that see all these CBD products or other products in the stores can finally trust something that they can buy. One thing we're offering to states, and we've had some really good discussions in a few states to get this ball started, is a state verification program. And for those of you that oversee the food supply in your state, one of the challenges when it comes to CBD and these other products is you can oversee the hemp that's grown in your state, but what happens to the products that are coming from other states? You're not going to be able to send inspectors to those facilities to make sure that they're meeting all good manufacturing practices. Well, that's where we come. Because we're able to go through and audit these companies and make sure that they're doing what they're saying they're doing, it allows you a tool in your toolbox to make sure that you're able to have some oversight over those companies that are selling in your state. And so if this is something that interests you, we'd love to work with your department to help provide this state verification program so that you can feel more comfortable in the days ahead. Last thing I want to mention, the biggest debate right now, or I think the big debate over hemp in the future is going to be what is hemp? And a lot of discussion now, you've heard about Delta 8 THC, and there are other Delta 9, other things. Our position in the US Hemp Roundtable is that hemp is non-intoxicating. And so that we're not calling for a ban on Delta 8, but we believe that Delta 8 and intoxicating compounds should be regulated through the adult use cannabis market. They should be sold through dispensaries and the like. While the retail outlet should be focused on non-intoxicating hemp. Now, what is non-intoxicating versus intoxicating? That's something that we're really working with right now, and looking forward to, again, those of you who are regulators to help dig down, because we want to make sure that the products that are sold in stores that young people have access to, that older people have access to, that are not interested in getting high, are non-intoxicating, and not just Delta 8, Delta 9, but any other of these new cannabinoids and extracts that we're learning about. So let me stop there, and thank you for letting me join you here for your great event, and we appreciate all of your great work in the States and look forward to continue working with you.